This is a recipe I found on the Food Network. It's from one of Ida Garden's episodes. Let me look at my notes here real quick. The episode, of course, is Barefoot Contessa, and it is Eat Your Greens. I will put a link to it in the show notes if you'd like to see the show and watch her make this from scratch. This is one of my favorite go-to recipes for when we have company, and we have company coming tonight. One of them has food allergies, and this is also a wonderful recipe for anyone who, if you're having company and they do have allergies, as long as they can have potatoes, salt and pepper, parsley, and this is optional. This is just for a garnish at the end. I have a friend who's allergic to parsley. Olive oil, and the star of the show in this recipe, this is stone ground mustard. Now you want to make sure you use stone ground. It definitely gives it a very distinctive flavor that you might not get with other mustards. Just so you know, the onions are chopped very coarsely. This is a sheet pan recipe, so we don't want little tiny pieces, which is great because it makes the preparation go so much faster. The potatoes that I'm using are golden potatoes. You can use full-size potatoes if you like. Of course, that's what these are. Or what I really prefer are the little teeny tiny round ones, and then I just cut those in half. I will show you how I cut these in just a moment. And you also need to know that you need to preheat your oven to 425 degrees. I will have all of the information on the amounts and the preparation in the show notes for you, so just relax and enjoy. This recipe couldn't be easier. I just want to show you how large I cut the potato chunks for this recipe. A couple ways to do it. A lot of times I'll just cut it in half, and then I'll halve the halves, cutting out any parts that might be a little discolored. So, around this size. If you want it a little bit smaller, you can certainly do that. It's not rocket science, thank goodness. Otherwise, I'd probably never make this recipe. But I'm just going to finish chopping these real quick so you can see it all come together. See, and again, there's a lot of inconsistency in size. So because these are smaller potatoes, I'm going to knock these down a little bit so they're all a little bit closer in size. I do leave the skins on. It's more nutritious that way. Just make sure that you wash your potatoes very well before starting. Almost there. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put the potatoes in my bowl and kind of keep an eye to see if there's any that are much larger than the others. Oh, that was loud. Whoa. It's banging up against my colander. Sorry about that. There we go. Yes, I'm working slowly, which is why I pre-prepare a lot of this stuff, because I know the last thing you guys want to do probably is sit and watch me chop, but I did want you to see how I do the potatoes. All right. Now, couldn't be easier. All you do is mix everything together. Let's put in the onions. Salt and pepper. Actually, I think I measured the pepper a little bit more than the recipe calls for. It calls for a teaspoon of pepper. This looks more like a teaspoon and a half, but I love pepper, so I'm not worried about it. Olive oil. And the stone ground mustard. Okay, what you're going to do is you're going to stir this really well, and then you're going to put it on a baking sheet that has parchment paper and roast it in the oven. So I'm going to finish stirring these and get them on the parchment and get them in the oven, and I will be back in just a little bit. All right, my timer's gone off, and I'm going to just peek in at the potatoes and take a look. They look really good. What I like to do always is take a little out and just taste it to make sure that they're cooked all the way through. Since there's variations in the size of the potatoes, sometimes this cooks faster, sometimes it cooks slower. You want the inside of the potatoes to be particularly creamy. And these look perfect. And here are the potatoes when they're done. You want to make sure that before you plate them, you double check the seasoning. You might need a little extra salt. Potatoes absorb salt like crazy. Oh, and by the way, the salt that I used in the recipe is kosher salt. If you use table salt, you'll want to reduce the amount. Kosher salt is less salty than regular table salt. So there they are. Enjoy.